I didn't want to be me. I would put googly eyes over my face and a smiley mouth over my mouth. People didn't know me. I wanted to be different, and eventually I realized that's not gonna work. I decided to just settle with Julian. It just makes you feel so much more real. Thinking is a skill you have to learn, and the better you get at it, the better ideas you sit on a toilet bowl and think, or in the shower and think. All these pockets of time, they're really, really precious, and I spend all of them thinking. The more you think, the greater chance you have of coming across a brilliant idea. The moment I switched to entertainment, the moment I switched to writing like me, I started blowing up. It's the eureka moment. People aren't here to be educated, they're here to be entertained. Entertainment's a double-edged sword. You don't want to let it use you, you want yourself. You want your clients to actually win. Once you start, you just can't stop.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Ryan Light podcast. This is episode number 4, and today I have an entertaining show for you guys. This is the man of the hour. He loves reading books upside down and spamming emojis in his tweets, but it makes sense because he is the entertainment guy. And also, he's one of the most goofy, kind, and intelligent human beings I've met online. Julian Sky, welcome to the podcast, my brother.
What's up, guys? I am.
Just him,
I'm
dude. He's
Tim,
an
I guess.
entertainment guy.
No, I'm just kidding. I
All
should
right,
stop praising myself.
going right
What's up?
into it. We'll start from kind of the whole X monetization space. Julian, you are one of the fastest monetizing creators on X, starting from day one to now. Tell us about your journey to 8 paying clients and over 350 followers in just over a month.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. The 8 paying clients really came from the start, and that was when I was more of a generic edge coach. So I had all the information, but I didn't have anything that stood me out. So it was really just a lot of flexing my wins. I would write a lot of value posts, and people saw the value in me, which is why they came to me. All inbounds, by the way. But I think since a month ago, I decided to stop focusing on monetization. I strayed away from that. Instead, I've been really researching on entertainment, figuring out my systems, and I think right now, since I've got all the systems down, I might start going into monetization again soon. But gotta get everything smooth and running first.
hmm Yeah, I was the same way for my whole X growth phase with the marathon and everything. Like, I got a few clients in my first week, and then it just kind of dropped off because I didn't find it really fulfilling. And I agree with you. Like, monetization, at least when you know what you're doing, is a lot more accessible. But you just want to set up those systems so that it's a lot easier down the line. And you want to figure out like what you actually want to monetize, right? Because you don't want to do anything super generic, like just basic X growth. You want to have like something like a big idea or like a really unique take on it that actually helps people stand out. And so you're in your case, it's entertainment, and it's super unique, and it's super relevant, especially just for social media. And it's not something that a lot of growth creators use, and that's probably why you got so many inbounds early on, because people want to learn entertainment, and it's something interesting and something that you're good at, right? Just naturally good at. And so it's probably something that comes to you naturally, and that makes you a really good teacher of it. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. And so I went down memory lane to find the earliest posts that I could dig up from your account. And here it is. I finally gained 1 kg. It took 2 long weeks, but the progress is showing. For a skinny guy like me, it wasn't easy, but the bulk is working. I can't stop now. The best part is that I know I can do so much better. Gotta celebrate the small wins though. Ha ha ha. Stay crazy, fellas. Fire emoji.
Damn, that was a long ass time ago. Damn, that was actually. I haven't used the Stay Crazy Fellas fire emoji in so freaking long. I think that
June
was.
9th.
Damn. Right, June 9th was. That was actually my second day on X.
Yeah, I couldn't scroll back far enough to find the first post, but Yeah, that's
Holy
crazy.
shit.
Yeah, so what was the context behind it? What were you doing? Were you on a bulk?
Yeah, I was trying to at least. Um, kind
Did
of
it
fell
work?
off after I
No.
it was working, and then after that, I got an ex. I got on the grind, all the engagement in the early days, and then I just had no time to eat or anything. It was really unhealthy. I don't recommend anyone do it.
Really? Wait. What did you do in your first week? Like, what were you doing exactly for X? Like, were you just doing a bunch of comments? Were you focusing on posts, DMs? Like, what were you doing?
Okay, I think there are different stages on X, and I know a lot of other creators say this, but I'll just run it through. At the start, in the couple first weeks, or at least the first 2 weeks, you should be engaging a lot. Um, what I mean is sending out lots of cold DMs to make as many connections as you can, commenting on people's posts before that to warm up the conversation and things like that. So I was just um, throwing that strategy all day for 2 weeks straight, and that really, I guess, that was that was a mad grind. Then after that, it became more of maintenance, trying to grow through my posts, which worked pretty well. It was more finding my own style and eventually finding my own brand, my own unique selling point, and stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah. So back like when you started, I remember the spark that kind of sent you like on your way. It was from like 20 to like 50 followers. Like you got them all in like the span of 2 days or something. Like walk me through that journey. Like was it just a viral post or were you just like really cashing in on those connections?
Yeah, I think in the first couple of days I didn't grow that much. It was like 25 followers in the first week or so. So the real growth really came when it was like day five onwards, and I was sending out lots of cold DMs. Before I would cold DM, I would um I would just comment on their posts, and besides this, I was posting like 2 times a day, I think, and that was the main strategy.
Hmm. Yeah, and I like how in the bulking post you foreshadowed the whole idea of like celebrating wins because you're celebrating your bulk with your analytics and stuff, and it's like, dang, now that's like the meta in X growth to just celebrate your wins with your analytics with your followers and stuff like that. It's crazy. Do you remember what your actual first post was, or was this your first post?
My first post was June June 8th, 7:06 a.m. I think, or 7:56 a.m.
Wait, do
Something
you just
like
remember
that.
that off the top of your head, or did you check it?
No, I didn't check it. I have a feeling it was seven something.
Uh
Yeah.
huh. What was it about?
Um, my ex. Tad embarrassing, but yes.
I think you cut out.
It was about like a relationship I just got out of, and I was slightly depressed, but I'm all right now.
Okay. Yeah. All on my first post was pretty bad. Like not on this account, but on my previous account. My first post was I don't know, I think it was a platitude. Like I think I stole a platitude from like Dakota or something and then just like changed a couple words around and then posted it and got like 2 views. It was so bad. Okay. So as I was stalking your accounts back then, there was a post about one of your OG bios. It was chronic ADHD, helping you self improve step by step, X account rebranding coach on the side. So tell me about your motivation and mindset at this point in the journey. So what were you doing on a day to day basis whenever you were whenever you had this bio?
Hmm, nothing much. I just wanted to document my self improvement journey then, and then I fell off that kind of niche because it's not good to have two niches, and I settled on the X growth coaching niche instead of the self improvement niche because I mean it's hard to monetize self improvement on X. It's more of a video platform thing to build a following which you can then monetize in the future. But short term wise, for money, it's not viable at all.
Yeah. So is there a future where you'd see yourself like doing something in the self improvement space or potentially with like, because I know we were talking a long time ago about how you'd maybe one day try to help like entrepreneurs with ADHD and like mesh it together with self improvement. Is that still something that you dream of doing, or are you all in on like X growth and entrepreneurship in general?
And possibly make a school in the future, but that's nowhere near it now because I do need quite a huge following to be able to do that. Um, I'm I'm gonna be I'm gonna need to be huge on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, X, all of these platforms so that I can actually like funnel people into that. But for now, no, that's not something I can do.
Hmm. And so going back a little bit further, I remember reading this tweet when I first met you, actually, and reading it now, it's actually kind of wild. So I'll give you a little paraphrase. I actually remember this one very vividly. I never stick to anything I start. My whole life, I've taken up and dropped a million things: gymnastics, taekwondo, sailing, parkour, skateboarding, ukulele, bouldering, YouTube. The list goes on. But why? And then yada, yada, yada. And I just thought that, like, it's so relatable, right? Where everyone kind of just does these things in their life. And then, some things work out, some things don't. And you bounce around from one thing to the next. It's kind of similar way that people bounce around from one business model to the next business model. And so, what inspired you to even get started on Money X in the first place? And what has kind of kept you going throughout your first few months?
All right. To be honest, in I wasn't intending from the start to start Money X. I had a friend and he started Money X before me. 5 days after I my break had started, and we were talking about getting on X to build a following before, right? So 5 days after, once my break started, I started posting on X, and the goal wasn't to monetize at all. The goal was actually just to build a following, and eventually, I think 5 days down the road into X, I saw the power, like I saw the potential in Money X in growth coaching because I knew it was something that I could do, and I guess it was just the dopamine, the sheer amount of dopamine from, you know, getting all those results fast that really pushed me into it.
Mhm.
But other than that, it's just been a whole blur of, yeah, it's been a journey.
Would you change anything, or if you could go back, would you have done anything different, or would you have just accepted it as it came to you?
I'd have gone back, I'd have started from day one because um 5 days can change a lot. Instead of hitting 100 in I think it was 17 days, could have hit it way earlier, like possibly even in 10 days, simply because I'd have started from the start and I'd have niched down from the start, had
Hmm.
gotten a mentor from the start, all that, and that would have boosted me a lot. I think another thing I would do also is I would have put in a lot more effort into engaging. Um, I know there were pockets of time in the day where I would just stare at the screen because I was so tired. But if I had kept a better sleep schedule, if I had stayed healthy still and really focused when I had to focus, I'd have gotten so much more done and I'd have shot up way more. And the last thing I would do is really focus on writing because all in all, people are going to follow you for what you write.
Hmm.
If they follow you for something else, they're going to unfollow you eventually because there's no other reason to stay. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. And you mentioned something about getting a mentor from the start, and I 100% agree. Like I'm all in on that idea because especially if you have no experience at all, like the best thing you can do from the get-go is just invest a little bit into the future and grab a mentor. Get someone that's a few steps ahead of you to help you out because they have already been through the process. They know what pitfalls to avoid and what kinds of priorities you have to set for yourself. And it just fast tracks everything, right? It gives you the faster results, which eventually you can leverage. A lot of like the speedrunners, they leverage their quick results as authority and then eventually just grow faster and faster. So it's like a snowball right from the get go. And so getting a mentor is just like the best investment you can make. It's more important than like arguably engaging a bunch of times or like trying to figure out how to write on your own because they already have the knowledge. They already have all the secret sauce, you know? So yeah, I 100% agree. I think if you're completely new to X, get a mentor first thing, and you'll get better at like 10 times the rate, 100 times the rate as someone that starts it out on their own for sure. What are your thoughts on that actually? Just like the whole mentorship space for a beginner, right? Like how do they find a mentor that they would realistically want to work with, that they would vibe with, that could actually help them?
I think it really depends on your niche. Um, if you want to do X growth coaching, then you should go to someone who's grown extremely fast in X growth coaching, I feel. You should definitely go to someone who has experience and they may be like just a couple steps ahead of you. I mean, like, don't go to Audrey Lowe or something, someone way up there. You got to work your way up, I guess. Get to the final boss.
The final boss.
Yeah. Um, and I would say, like, if you're in other niches, say ghostwriting, copywriting, go to a mentor with genuinely good writing. You know, um, like Ben Chan, he's storytelling guy. Um, there are lots of other mentors that are very writing based. If their brand and focus is structured around writing, that's where you should go. And lastly, like, if you're going into niches like video editing, graphic design, these kind of things where you need a lot of outreach, go to coaches who specialize in outreach. Um, it's all about finding what you need and going to the specific coach, and you need to vibe with them, of course. I feel that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've basically like my mentors have all been my friends, and it's been the best decision of my life because there's no filter, right? Since you're already friends and you're just kind of joking and messing around, it's like the efficiency of the coaching is just peak because you know each other already. You understand like who they are as a person, and there's no like friction. And so the coaching is just like perfect. It's seamless. And yeah, find someone that you vibe with, right? When you're looking for a mentor, find someone that you vibe with. Find someone that has the skill and isn't too far ahead of you. You don't want to go to the final boss. Work some side quests, stay on track with the mission, and then you can eventually build your way up to those top guys. But once you've kind of worked with some of the mentors that are slightly ahead of you, just a few steps ahead of you, for sure. And I think, yeah, find someone you vibe with. If you can kind of make friends, like as you network, as you engage, use that as a way to connect with potential mentors. And yeah, it's the best decision I made for sure to mentor and study from the people that I vibe with and the people that I'm friends with. Okay, over 9,000 impressions, probably over 10,000 at this point, nearly 100 likes, your first crazy viral post. I just signed my first paying client. Yesterday, I made my first Wi Fi dollar. Just over 2 weeks of starting X at only 80 followers. And the best part, he was happy with the service. I did it this fast, so you can. Here's how to sign your first paying client. And so you have a whole little mid form there. But the $5, your first Wi Fi dollar, how did it feel to land that first client?
Well, it felt phenomenal. I was like on the edge of my seat waiting for that payment, and it was mad. But yeah, uh, it was some crazy times. I still remember who the guy was. I won't say though, but yeah, it was just a sales call. I mean, not a sales call. It was just a consult call. Wasn't a mentorship yet.
Uh huh. what kind of consulting were you offering at that point? Was it still like the what were you doing, like profile stuff, or was it actual just like writing or something?
It was more for the beginners out there. So I was teaching like engagement strats and my cold DM strategy, how I would get followers from it, and that's why I was priced so low because it's not that much value, but it worked. So
Mm, okay. And did you do more of those consulting calls, or did you pivot straight into the mentorship after that?
yeah, pivoted more into mentorship after that because by that point I had already stopped the engagement phase. I was going more into writing style, going more into figuring out my branding. So it was like just a level above of that, and once you reach that level, then that's when you can really help people who are like right below you. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, because like you really don't need to like you can just start low, take it for a few of the calls and get some testimonials and stuff. But how do you feel about the whole idea of free work and then getting a ton of testimonials and then scaling up from like low ticket into mid ticket into high ticket? Like, what was that journey like for you? Because a lot of people kind of get stuck in that whole free testimonial phase and then they struggle to like scale it up to like higher ticket and actually make real money.
I think the reason it's not working for them is not because they don't understand what it's for. The whole point of doing free work is to show that you're actually good at it. So first and foremost, you actually have to get good at it, and
Yeah.
then you don't just want a testimonial; you want results. You want your clients to actually win.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's why you want the testimonials. Many people get stuck thinking like, "Oh, I don't have enough testimonials" or things like that. Um, but it's not really the testimonials that matter as the results. So you might even be able to sell with your personal results first, and once you get client results, you can move up, and the more results you get, you just keep scaling from there. Yeah.
Yeah, I will say for my three clients, I got like one video testimonial because I just forgot to ask them about it. And it's literally like none of the clients I landed even asked for a testimonial. It was just like my crazy insane results that got me the clients. And so it's like the testimonial phase might be worth skipping, to be honest. Like you might not even need it if you have good enough results for yourself. And if you know what you're doing and you can actually help the people that you're working with get crazy results themselves, because then you can just snowball it. And you don't need testimonials to prove it because you have the evidence that these people succeeded with my help. So therefore, these people should work with me. And so, yeah, like maybe the whole free work thing isn't very necessary unless you kind of got off to a slow start, and then maybe you might have to do free work and get testimonials. But if you have the results, then leverage them for sure. I just had the greatest shit of my life,
Oh, I should not this one.
all
I've been
without
trying to run away from this one.
residue to wipe, excess resistance. Here's how I did it. Please don't start calling me the shit guy. I have
Yeah,
feelings.
guys, please don't stop. Like, please don't stop. I've been trying to move away from that. I've changed my brand to entertainment. I'm the entertainment guy now. Forget what Ryan just said.
So tell me about how you kind of ideated this post, and tell me about how like I feel like it was the spark for your entertainment brand though. Like even though you're kind of running away from it, you don't want to be known as the shit guy. If you weren't known as the shit guy, I don't think you would have ever realized that you could have become the entertainment guy. So tell me about that whole mindset shift that you had, right? Going from shit to entertainment.
I owe a lot of credit to a lot of people for this. So first and foremost, I owe it to myself for having that amazing shit on the toilet that day. Okay, so how the story started was that I actually sat on the toilet and I had brilliant shit. And the first thing I thought was, oh, I should write a post about this, you know. And then it was always in my head, but I didn't write it because it just sounded so stupid. It is like logically you wouldn't do it for the brand, right? Because it's just so childish. But
Hmm.
then I was really struggling to find my writing style. I was copying, not say copying, but my writing didn't look like anyone's writing. It just it just looked like writing. Um, you could hardly guess I was the one who wrote it. And then um, so my mentor told me just write whatever the shit you want. Like if you have one post you wanted to post, and like it didn't matter about views or whatever, what will you post? So I posted that. Like I wrote out the whole shit post, and it went like for my size then, it went like semi viral, 3 point something k at such a small size, and that boosted me up a lot. I was still 100 something.
Hmm.
So I was like, oh shit, this actually works because I got like 20 plus followers from it, and then it hit me that the people followed because my writing was enjoyable, which is basically the basis of entertainment. And another reason why I thought of the word of entertainment was I was actually scrolling through scrolling through the feed, and I saw one of Ben's posts, Ben Chan, and
Hmm.
he said a very nice quote. People don't want, people aren't here to be educated, they're here to be entertained, or
Hmm.
something like that. And that was exactly what I was doing, and that was exactly what worked. And um, I was good at it, so I stuck with that. I figured out the whole mechanics for my branding. I watched 4.5 hours of Ryan Trahan's Penny Across America to figure out the pillars of entertainment, which are basically like the rules, the things that entertainment has to have that makes entertainment. Um, I'll explain that later if you wanna listen. But yeah, uh, I'm done with the story.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you could get into the pillars, that'd be interesting because I didn't know about these pillars until you talked to me about them. But I feel like they're super useful, and not it's definitely not discussed because when people think about entertainment, they generally think like, oh, it's just something that people kind of it's like an art form that people just make. But there's actually like pillars that you can and principles that you can apply to your own kind of content and inject some entertainment into it. So tell me about these pillars.
Okay, so there are three main pillars. The first one would be organization, or structure. This uh, this is the how you arrange your entertainment form. So there are tons of forms of different entertainment, right? But all of them have a flow to it. All of them have a specific order of events. If you read a book, there's the introduction, something rising, action, climax, falling, action, yada yada. If you watch a comedy show, then there's always the build up and then there's the punchline, right? If you
Hmm.
watch, say a movie, same thing. It goes by story. And if you listen to music, it always starts low and then it like builds up, and then there are these clashes in there, and these vary a lot, but there is always a good flow and structure to all of these forms of entertainment. Um, so that is one. The second one would be stimulation. So this is the biggest part of entertainment. There are four kinds of stimulation. First one's wait, no, there are three kinds of stimulation: intellectual, emotional, and sensory. So intellectual is thought provoking. Emotional is feeling, it provokes feelings, and sensory is like something that might seem aesthetic to say your eyes, like you see it, or you hear it, you smell it, you taste it, feel it. Yeah,
Hmm.
appealing to the five senses. So that is just a rough overview of the three pillars. It goes way more in depth, but I will not bore you with the details. I think the audience would click off.
Yeah. Um, so how would someone that's like not naturally entertaining per se, like they're not funny or like they just don't have like creative ideas, actually add some entertainment to their content, like without like getting super technical, of course.
At a base level, um, your content has to be easy to read or like easy to consume. So it has to have a proper flow to it. This is just basic English, or if it's music, it's like basic music theory. It's all about the theory of making things flow. You can learn this, and then there is also little things that anybody can do, right? You can always make a post aesthetic. You can always make a video aesthetic. You can always make something aesthetic, and um, the other pillar about like stimulation, you know, this is I feel the hardest part of X. If you want to entertain an X, the whole part about stimulation then becomes a personal thing. The forms of stimulation that you use are what make you you. It's what differentiates you. Like Arnie Ho, he uses a lot of personal stories about his life, his family, his kid, how he quit his 9 to 5 to
Hmm.
spend more family time, and that's really relatable. That's really touching. It's emotionally stimulating, right?
Hmm.
If you look at John Chan, he has all these brilliant ideas, and um, when you read his content, you're like, oh shit, that makes perfect sense, right? That is intellectually stimulating, thought stimulation, and then there is like visual stimulation. Who was that guy? It's another Jonathan. Not, I don't know if you've seen his content, but
Yeah,
he
his
posts
selfies and the middle
right.
fingers.
Yeah. The banger pictures. His
Yeah,
photography is just yeah. So,
peak.
um, it's a lot about finding yourself. Uh,
Hmm.
just figuring out exactly what makes you you and using that to stimulate other people. Okay, that sounds weird. I shall stop.
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit about like what Arnie and John are doing, right? Because Arnie's banner isn't even like a business banner anymore. It's just a picture of his son. Uh, and
Yeah.
it's like that's emotional when someone reads his posts, which are generally about like, business and content creation and growth and how to build a brand. Whenever they go to his profile, they don't see like a banner about what he used to do. Branding with authenticity, right? They don't see like this fancy little graphic with all about authenticity. They just see a picture of his son, and they realize instantly emotional like stimulation to their eyes, and then they just feel something deeply within them, like holy crap, like this guy's a family dude, and it's just like emotional, right? You feel it, and just from a
Yeah.
banner, and from the perspective of branding, that banner is probably going to land him more clients than the original one, just because of the fact that it's emotional and it has
It
like,
screams.
yeah,
It
that
screams
stimulation.
authenticity.
Yeah, exactly. And he doesn't even have to say it. He doesn't even have to use the word authenticity, which is so
Yeah.
powerful. And then John, he doesn't do it as much anymore, I don't think. But the pointing, whenever he was like doing daily posts with himself pointing, and he was getting super creative with it. It's just like the subliminal message of having somebody point at you, right? As you look at the post, like that stops your scroll instantly because of just the association that you have with pointing. Like it's, there's positive and negative associations with it, and it feels like he's actually talking to you, and that in itself is stimulation. And so yeah, there's so many creative ways you can add entertainment to your brand, even if like your whole thing isn't entertainment, even if you're not like a naturally entertaining person. Like there's ways that you can apply these three pillars to, add entertainment and make people fall in love with your brand, which is what you teach, which is like, and you're really good at it because I've seen so many creative things. I mean, you've done chicken nugget videos, crunchy, crispy chicken nuggets, upside down book, Spider-Man while reading upside down book, like just crazy, entertaining selfies. And you've tried so many different things, and you're trying new things even now. And it's just like, damn, this guy knows what he's doing, and people love your brand for that because you're consistently showing up and experimenting and always sticking to that whole idea of entertainment. And I'm sure that's like going to be hugely successful, especially now that you're expanding down the line into more of the video platforms like YouTube and Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah. It
But
really
yeah,
helps.
go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying it really helps.
Oh, yeah, and it's just crazy how that all sparked from a shit post. You figured out your writing style, and then uh, you kind of realize that maybe my thing is entertainment, and that's pretty awesome. So I believe it's July 5th, 2024, at 7:01 a.m. that the entertainment guy was born with the post about reaching 150 followers. Let's see. Yeah, 150 followers in 25 days. You guys are the best. And what better way to celebrate than releasing my rebrand? As always,
Oh,
stay crazy, fellas. I love you all. And so the rebrand with the banner, the iconic banner. Tell me about the inspiration for this post, or like the gameplay that you had in mind with the rebrand, because I feel like at least I'm going through a rebrand right now, and it's kind of a hard thing to figure out. So how did you go about the whole rebranding process?
first thing is the phrase entertainment. Like that was the main thing I was trying to focus on, and then I added like emojis because at that point I was using emojis quite a lot. I do want to rebrand again. I want to move away from the emojis because I find it slightly mature. I want to appeal to an older audience, uh, people with actual money that can buy my services. So like, yeah, I do want to pivot from that. Yeah. Oh, but Alex Pina, I don't know if I pronounced his name right. Sorry, but yeah, he helped me a lot with the banner. I made the original one, and then he just upgraded it. Yeah,
What a nice guy.
kudos to him. I love that guy.
Yeah, I love Alex. He's such a good designer. Holy. So I mean, if you can reveal a little bit of a sneak peek on your new rebrand, what's the plan? How are you going to shift away from emojis?
Enjoy the show. That's all I'll say. That's all I'll
Dang,
say.
that's not even a little bit.
I mean, in itself, where do people say that?
Uh,
Enjoy the show.
before like a theater performance or something, or before like a circus, or like a video or
Yeah.
something, or like a movie.
Yeah, you can kind of imagine what kind of place it would be in. That's gonna be the theme of my banner.
I like
I
that.
have to
Okay,
get down to it.
interesting. I'm excited to see, because I can, yeah, I can already see it. You're doing a lot more of like the video content. It's stepping away from the selfies. Yeah, it's gonna be dope to
Mm.
watch.
Honestly, I'm
Okay.
just experimenting.
Yeah. Yeah. Same here. I mean, especially now that X is slowly changing a little bit,
Mm.
away from just pure X growth into like people are finding their own, you know, little pocket to get into, to
Yeah.
monetize and to build a brand around. And I think it's really cool. I'm glad it's finally happening. And I imagine that like the veterans, the people that have been here around for like a really long time, are probably sighing some, or like giving a huge sigh of relief, because it's just like, yeah, I can see how it's kind of exhausting how everything's been
It's
the same.
stimulating them.
It's yeah, dude. The whole change in the movement's entertainment.
Yeah.
Uh, so your entertainment branding's made you hundreds of dollars. So, in general, what advice do you have for a beginner, so someone that's like under 100 followers, to monetize their brands on X?
If I could go back then, I wouldn't focus so much on monetization. Honestly, I would because a little sneak peek, I was only able to scale to $200, and beyond $200, I don't think I could have provided any more value. Um, that would be worth a 250 or 300. So, you know, you don't want to be focusing on something that you're not ready for. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, like, I know I posted in the past that like it's possible to monetize, and it definitely is, and it's not a scam if you can provide the value, which I did. But then again, if I had stepped back from that, if I didn't have clients to manage, and I had all the time in the world to go research and think and figure out my whole systems for entertainment, then I would have been way further down the road right now. I would have had I've probably done a giveaway by now. Um, it's would have moved towards high ticket way faster. So if you are smaller than 100, if you don't have a branding yet, then figure out your unique system, like how Arnie Ho has authenticity, how Ben Chan has storytelling, John has branding, all these people, like I have entertainment. You need to figure out what makes you uniquely you, and it's not good enough to learn. You need to think and invent something new.
Mm.
Yeah.
How do you go about thinking? Journaling? Because I know a lot of people say like if you're trying to figure out like your writing style or figure out like what your one unique thing that's gonna make you stand out from everyone else is just by like taking a step away, journaling for like a few hours, or just like going on vacation or something and then just like figuring out along the way. Like what advice do you have for like the thinking phase of trying to figure out what you want to do to stand out and have that unique system?
There's no specific way to go about it. Um, I know John didn't like struggle too much with it. Like he's just him. Ben Chan, he had his break when he posted his first story and he realized it. It's like that's one way, you know. Just keep trying new things. Eventually, maybe you'll land on something. Like I landed on my shit post, and it's the eureka moment. Yeah. So keep trying new things. Another way is, you know, sit on a toilet bowl and think, or in the shower and think. Yeah. Or like just anywhere, you know, when you're traveling in the bus, when you're walking somewhere, uh, when you're at like a part-time job and there's nobody there, and you have nothing to do. When you're waiting in between classes, all these pockets of time, they're really really precious, and I spend all of them thinking about stuff. The more you think, the greater chance you have of coming across a brilliant idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and in these pockets of time, most people just fill it with going on their phone and just like doom scrolling or like pretending to be busy. But like, what if you just spent like these 5 minutes between class, or like these 5 minutes commuting to your 9 to 5 or something, like on the train? Just like spend the time just sitting and not doing anything particular, just like letting your thoughts wander. And I think that's where the brilliant ideas come, right? Because at least for me, I used to go on walks, but I would only convince myself to do it because I found it kind of boring. I'd only convince myself to do it because I promised myself that I would be able to listen to a podcast or or listen to like an audiobook while I walked. And I made a slight change, and I just stopped bringing my phone. I stopped bringing like AirPods or anything like that, and I just like walked by myself. And so you're forcing yourself to think, and just like not having any other stimuli besides like things around you and yourself. And I think that's where the brilliant ideas come from, right? Finding little pockets of time where you can just like be free of like worldly objects, free of your phone, free of social media, free of everything. And then that's where you can figure out the brilliant way that you're gonna change X by being unique and by being you. Yeah, I love that for sure.
Like you see, entertainment's a double-edged sword. Like you don't want to let it use you. You want to use it. Um, if you let it use you, you won't be able to think about how you're gonna be able to use it. Yes, I'm a genius. Thank you. I'm glazing myself again. Oh,
Sheesh. What a line. Um, do you think that it's harder to monetize in land clients with a brand like entertainment? Because I know that you were mentioning how you want to shift away from shit post emojis, yada yada yada. Because just like people take you less seriously.
I think it's difficult to monetize with that specific kind of entertainment because I realized a bit into it that, you know, entertainment has to match the platform it's on. If you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, brain rot works there. But if you post brain rot on X, like it's not gonna work out, you know.
Yeah.
And if you post like intellectual entertainment on, say, in like TikTok, it's not gonna do as well as like all the brain rot, all this stupid like dances, challenges, whatever, because it's the wrong platform.
Mhm.
So I would be shifting to entertainment, and it's gonna work, but it has to be the kind of entertainment that works specifically for X.
Okay. And so like that is that entertainment more serious, like more educational than like the dancing on TikTok?
More more intellectual, definitely. A bit of humor is here and there is good because Dakota Robertson uses it. But when it comes to like childish entertainment, when it comes to these kind of um, things that adults wouldn't find entertaining, because you also have to account for the age, right? Then yeah, I gotta move away from those.
Okay. And so like you mentioned Dakota Robertson and these massive, massive creators, right? A lot of people come onto X trying to write and monetize because of Danco or because of, these huge, huge creators. So what was your journey like as far as, learning from these really massive people? Like, did you even really listen to their advice? Did you take their advice? Or did you learn from kind of like the smaller guys that are a few steps ahead of you? Because I feel like a lot of newbies think that they have to model their brand, they have to model their writing off of these massive, massive creators. And then it doesn't work because it doesn't matter what these massive creators post, right? They already have their own style and their own kind of aura that they can post whatever. Like Danny Coe can post platitudes all day, but it just doesn't work for like a newbie. So, what's your advice for a beginner as far as figuring out what advice to take and what advice to avoid?
There's no right or wrong. I mean, there is right or wrong. There is right or wrong. But when you go right, there is no right or wrong. Do I make sense?
Uh,
Like, all right, think about it this way: Dakota Robertson, Danko, they both got big. They both got huge. But other creators are also getting big. Other creators are also getting huge. But they don't use the same methods as Danko or Dakota Robertson. Like, think about it. Right? Compare Danko and like maybe John Chan because he's killing it right now. Right?
mhm.
You compare them both, they're completely different. You don't like. Can you find any similarities other than that they're winning? Not really,
Yeah, they're
right?
just both winning. That's it. No other
Yeah, and
similarities.
so the reason they're winning is because they're winning by being them. Like, um, if I were to try and copy John, right, which I was doing a bit at the start because like, you know, you see someone winning, you just want to copy them. Um, you do that, and it doesn't work because it's not you, right? It's just like a lot of people try to copy Danko, it doesn't work. But the moment I switched to entertainment, the moment I switched to writing like me, then boom, I started blowing up. 20 follower days. Um, I think I hit like 100 followers in less than 10 days, 7, 8.
Hmm.
That's because I am being me, because I'm like at the optimum state of
Hmm.
that particular method. But nobody can reach that optimum state other than me because it's mine. You know.
Yeah. So I think there's a little merit though, right? To like studying what the people that are winning, like John, Danko, yada yada yada. These guys are doing something that's working. So I think there is a little merit to studying what they're doing, but instead of just like straight up copying them, just like adding your own little twist to it, like figuring out what principles they're applying that are working for them, and then bringing that into your own brand, into your own style. I think that's the way to do it, instead of just like blindly following.
It's good to learn everything. Like, it's good to learn, and because the more kind of methods you have in your arsenal, the better you can adapt to different situations. So there were times where I've had to switch up, use a little bit more like authority in my posts to push it out. There were times that I had to switch up to put way more value in the posts to get followers and things like that, depending on what I needed in the situation. If I needed a visual win or if I needed like a follower win, I could I have all these tools from I learned from different creators, and I can just use them at will. And it's just like jack of all trades is a master of none, but still always better than a master of one. But if you're a jack of all trade and a master of your own trade, then that's like OP.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, like the Deco says, be your own niche, be a generalist, and then other people are like, find one thing and go all in on it. And it's like, what if you did both? Like, what if you, yeah, it's just find the one thing that you're really good at, go all into it, be the best at it, and then you have other interests and other passions and personality traits that you can also inject to your brand. It's not just not one thing. So you can have both, and instantly you'll stand out from everyone else. So yeah, totally. Like there's no need to just follow one framework that one big creator said. Just do both. It's like the same idea with, this is kind of a tangent, but it's the same idea with outreach, or like in the SMMA space. Like a lot of the problems that people faced, as far as booking calls and stuff, were that they could either send a shit ton of outreach, like DMs, cold calls, cold emails, or they could spend more time personalizing it. And so what someone like Charlie Morgan did was he created a client acquisition system that lets you do both. Because he said they have this problem between quantity and quality. So why not just do both? Like why not, right? So I think like just the question of or the ability to ask yourself why not whenever you see something or you see a pattern, like why is it this way and why can't it be another way? Like why can't it be better? And just asking yourself these why questions all the time, I think, is how you not only find your one big thing, like your unique system, like for you as entertainment, but it's just like, yeah, sitting in your own thoughts and then asking yourself why these things work and analyzing what works from these big successful creators and then adding your own spin to it. Like that's how you build something really, really massive and successful. So there's a certain post that has nearly 20K views. Pretty sure it's reposted by some absolutely massive creators. And it attracted the attention of dream creators. Like, I think it was Vigu that reposted it, maybe even like Dakota or something. So let's see, where was it? Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it was the follow up, I believe, to the shit post. And yeah, so that was a different kind of post, right? You didn't have like the same it didn't have the same language exactly. It was just like a second version of it. So what like what was the mindset behind that? Like why did you decide to milk the shit post whenever you were trying to shift away from it?
It was just making fun of another overused post structure. Yeah. See something refreshing.
Hmm. What
Yeah,
was the
that was
structure?
really it. I can't remember. Honestly, I can't remember. Let me actually just scroll down to take a look at it on my account. I believe the first one was making fun of value long forms.
Hmm.
So, um, back then I would write a lot of value long forms, and I was just kind of making fun of myself. Ah, yes, I found it. Okay. Um,
What are the stats now?
right at the time, it's 18K now, but at the time, right? So there was this post that was circulating around like mad. It's like, don't focus on the results, focus on the journey. I found that like really lame because
Hmm.
everyone was saying that it they wanted the results, not the journey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I told that I tweaked that bit into a shit post, and I cooked. I cooked. That's just
Yeah,
sad.
you cooked. I mean, that post probably got you how many followers? Like just a crazy amount, I'm sure.
See, it was reposted by quite a couple of people. I think the biggest one was one of the creators, I forgot, but it was like Audrey Low Level. But he screenshotted it and reposted the screenshot, so it didn't work for my post. If not, my post would have gotten like over 50K, definitely.
That's crazy. If only he had actually reposted it. Dang.
Yeah. Oh well.
Uh, It's all good.
Mm.
But now, like, no more shit posts. You're gonna be enjoy the show type
Yeah.
brand.
I don't know
Uh,
if you've noticed, but I've been more subtle with the entertainment, but it still works.
mhm.
I literally had one one new creator. So one of my actually no, not a new creator, but one of my friends, his brother reads my posts, and
What?
like
That's interesting.
like his brother like just sent me a voice message over his like he recorded his brother saying it, but his brother was like telling me he absolutely loves my post. It's like an Instagram reel. Once you start, you just can't stop. And I was like,
Uh huh.
"Mm, yes,
Dang, your impact is crazy.
yeah, not just people, but people's brothers."
Uh, this post was kind of interesting. I lied.
Mm.
My name isn't Benedict. At David Goggins, words never hit harder. They don't know me, son. So I owe you all the truth. Hi, I'm Julian. And so, what gave you the inspiration to finally reveal your actual name?
All right. So it all starts at the beginning. I didn't want to be known. I used to be a faceless account, by the way. I used to put googly eyes over my face and a smiley mouth over my mouth. People didn't know me. They don't
Mhm.
know me, son.
I remember that.
Yeah, it used to be a long ass time ago, and like I remember I hopped on call with you. My camera was off because I didn't want to show my face yet. But I didn't want to show my name either. I wanted to be different than I was in real life, separate my online from my real life personality. And eventually I realized that's not going to work. You know why? Because if I'm a Ben and there's another bigger Ben than me, it's not going to work. There's a shit ton of Bens, and they're all under the shadow of one big Ben. Ben Chan. So I thought like I have to change my name. People are mistaking me like for him at sometimes, or like people might, and then there were other times where people would just post like Ben. I was like, oh shit, is that me? Oh no, it's not me. Yeah, so I was tired of that. I changed my name back to my first name, Julian. It's actually Julian Bandek Sun Kayang. In Chinese it's Sun Kayang, and then the shows for that Sky, and then Ben Julian. Ju is my nickname for Julian. Kai is my Chinese name, so Kai Ju, Sky, and like all that random word thing. I decided to just settle with my name. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned something that's a huge struggle for a lot of people, and it was for me too. Like my first account on X was a faceless James Bond fan page because I was just too scared to put my face on the internet. I was too scared to associate like my identity online. Like I didn't want people to know. Like yes, because I just watched like all of the new Daniel Craig James Bond movies, and I was like super obsessed with it. So I was like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna teach other dudes like me how to live more like James Bond. So it was so embarrassing, but that was the first account, and I wanted to ask you like how you overcame the fear of revealing your face and actually making your name Julian, and like, how did you overcome this? Because a lot of people struggle with it. They don't want to be in public. They don't want to go famous. They don't want to be famous or anything like that. They don't want people to know who they are. Like, how did you overcome that?
I always wanted to be famous. I didn't care if people saw my face or not. The reason I kept my face hidden was so that I could do a face review one day on
Uh,
YouTube, or Instagram, or TikTok. That like Boy with You, he did that, it blew up. Marshmallow did that, it blew up. A shit ton of people did it and it blew up. So it was just like a tactic. from the start, but eventually the benefits like were outweighed by the cons. It's a sad, it's a tragedy.
Yeah, I feel like having a face is just such a crucial part of your brand, right? Like it literally makes what your brand, it defines your brand. Yeah, it's a personal brand. It's about a person, and if you don't have a face, then it's not a personal brand. It's just like a faceless brand. And yeah, and a face is just easy to associate with. Like people know your face, and then they expect a certain outcome from you, or they expect something to be produced from you. So like they know your content, and then they associate that with you. And so, especially when you're scaling up as you're growing as a creator, people, you can just put your face anywhere, and if you show up, people kind of expect that level of, for you it'd be entertainment. They'd expect you to be doing some kind of entertaining thing no matter where you go, right? So if you're expanding off to YouTube and Instagram, the people that start to gain traction or even come from Twitter, they know what you're going to do. They know your content and they love that content already, so they're like die hard loyal to you. And it's just because they have associated, you know a idea, entertainment with your face or in with your name. But when you're faceless, it's like, what are you associated with, right? If you have like an AI generated image, like nobody wants to associate something entertaining or something valuable with an AI generated profile picture, right? And I think that's like such a critical part of the brand is just having a face. And even though it's like, it might not be the most appealing thing to have your face all over the internet, it's just like a reality. And it actually helps with speed, right? Because yeah, go ahead, explain why you think speed would help. Like why does having your face speed up the process of building the brand?
Just makes you feel so much more real. Like, don't you guys, like, I don't know if you feel it too, but when you see a faceless account, it feels slightly fake, doesn't it? Like you
Hmm.
don't know who's behind it, and it doesn't feel. It's just another account. You don't know if it's like it could be a bot for all you know. So
Yeah.
generally, I don't like to follow faceless accounts. Yeah,
Hmm. There's no person behind it. Yeah.
yeah. It just feels so fake. Not fake, but like not real. Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel the same way about AI images. Like if you have an AI profile picture, it's still like fake. Like it's not. It doesn't feel real to me, at least.
Yeah,
Um,
I know a couple guys who do that. Not like I know one. I don't think he's. I don't know how well he's doing. I don't think he's doing too well.
okay, and so I want to touch upon an idea that came to my mind recently. So we were talking on a call about like commentability and just like having content that sparks conversation or sparks like excitement, and as a result commentability and people engage with your post. And so how have you kind of created this aura of commentability in your posts, right? Because you've done the upside down book, you've done the crunchy chicken nugget. I feel like these are examples of like something that's super commentable. I mean, John pointing, like how does these aspects of your brand evoke kind of an aura that people want to engage with?
The whole commentability thing was actually started by John. Like he started the whole pointing thing. It started with the pointing, and from that I thought of the upside down book. So his theory was that if you did something normal in an abnormal way, um, then like people would comment on it because it's normal enough, but it's just kind of strange. It's slightly strange. So that's one way to make it commentable. But then I slowly went into other ways because just it's just not sustainable for me. Like it's not my brand. It's John's brand. He can do it, but when it comes to me, I have to find my own way of doing things. So I would find kind of things like just out of place a little bit, slightly entertaining. It was mostly focused on being entertaining, and people would comment on about like the things that stimulated them, and
Hmm.
yeah. But then at the same time now, I don't focus on commentability anymore because comments aren't pushing out posts like they used to. The X algorithm has probably changed. I don't know if it's still down or if it's like permanently changed. But as of now, I think the most important thing is getting people to read through your entire post. The longer they stay on it, the better. That's what I've been focusing on.
Mhm. Okay. Yeah, so I think like entertainment's perfect for that. It's perfect for keeping people reading, especially with like the simpler structure of the sentences and stuff like that. Because at least for me, whenever I was starting out, and I think my struggle was writing a longer like posts that were kind of hard to read. And I think it stemmed from like school because school trains you to write fancy and like with long sentences. So how did you kind of reframe your writing style so that you were kind of like using shorter, more concise writing that's like more entertaining and keeps people actually reading the post?
It comes naturally to me. It honestly just comes naturally to me. I used to do music. I used to write poetry. Um, my papers in school, they have a very limited word count, so you have to pack it with value and like use the minimal word count. The biggest struggle is not going over the limit. So, yeah, that's. I guess it's been slightly different for me because I was homeschooled as well.
Mm,
So I never really got to the concept of fluffing. I can do fluffing, definitely, but it's not something that I was bred into, if you want to put it that way. It was like something I added on to, and my natural mode of writing is just being concise. Yeah.
mm. Yeah, and that works. I mean, it's worked for your brand, it works for entertainment, keeps people interested for sure. And I want to talk about this chicken nugget actually because um, I guess this one's kind of a general question, but like, how do you turn kind of like the everyday aspects of your life, right? So like, you had a chicken nugget, and then how do you, and like the shit post even, how do you turn such simple everyday ideas into like a metaphor almost for a good, valuable post that's entertaining?
I I just think of it like because I'm thinking of X so much, it just occurs in my brain sometimes. Yeah. It's really about how much time you spend thinking. Thinking is a skill you have to learn, and the better you get at it, the better ideas you have.
Hmm.
So just think more. Yeah.
Yeah, just think more for sure. All right. I want to end the podcast with a fun question for you. So, I am I have a magic wand and I wave it around and I make you king of the world tomorrow. So you have unlimited money, power, and status. You have everything that you could ever want. What is the first thing that you would spend your wealth on? And what would be the first law that you'd pass that the entire world has to follow?
What would I spend my money on?
Chicken nuggets.
Ah, yeah. Honestly, like long day, being king. Like I go pop by McDonald's, buy some nuggets, go home, put them in the oven, put them in the broiler, get them all crispy. Probably buy a drink, some alcohol. No, I know, just kidding. There's
Wait,
a
what?
podcast, so I can't say that. Pause. And then yeah. Okay, first law I would pass. Yeah, generally I don't buy much things. I just chill. Um, food. But okay, first law I would pass. Law, be happy.
All right, Julian,
Yeah.
let the world know what you've been up to. This is where you plug everything that you've got going on. Let's hear it.
Plug, like sell my service or something.
Yeah, just like plug like whatever you've got. Like if you got a service, you got a newsletter, you've got something that's about to happen that you want people to hear about.
I might be working on something that starts with a G.
Okay, that's very vague.
and ends with a Y.
I still don't know what it is.
Oh, you can guess. It starts with a G, ends with a Y. It's gonna be huge when it comes up.
All right. Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, the king of entertainment, Julian Sky. This was such a fun episode, dude. And I always love talking to you, man. It's been
Yeah, we should hop on
a
a call
pleasure
one
to have
day.
you on the show.